Saw I molding of order from the chaos and angles at night. Saw I the light spring forth from order, and heard the voice of the light. Saw I the flame of the abyss casting
It
forth order and
is
light.
a good
Saw order spring
Friday
out of chaos.
evening
Saw
in
light
Atlanta,
giving
Georgia.
forth life.
I'm Dr. Triffy. It is
Then I
Good
heard the voice,
Friday.
Hear
It
thou
is
and
Good
understand.
Friday.
The flame is the source of
I
all
am
things,
listening
containing
to
all things in potentiality. The order that sent
a
forth.
book. I'm listening to a book on YouTube on tape called The Emerald Tablets of Thoth. And so that's what you were listening to as I came on here. It is Good Friday, y'all. It is Good Friday. I'm going to do this little uh, special Good Friday. I'm Dr. Triffy. I was born in the Caribbean. I was born in Dominica in the Caribbean. Dominica is between Guadeloupe and Martinique, and we are not to be confused with the Dominican Republic. We're a complete island. Mhm. And Dominican Republic is part of an island. Dominican Republic is connected to Haiti. The island is really Hispaniola. So the next person you meet who says they're from Dominica, they're very serious. It's a completely different country than the Dominican Republic. I love Good Friday. I don't know if you grew up Catholic like me and you have your own Good Friday traditions, but I do. And I've always loved Good Friday as a kid because it was so mysterious. It just felt like a stillness took over the island. And it's a very high holy day on the island. In the morning, many people will wake up and go join the rest of the parishioners and do a pilgrimage. A pilgrimage is a walk. And I saw some people actually doing it this morning. Sees, thank you so much for sharing that live video. You guys, you said you were walking from Tucari in Dominica all the way up to Capuchin. Capuchin in Dominica is the tip of the island. Dominica is shaped like a man, and you got the nose out here and the body. You know, we just don't have feet and toes. But Capuchin is at the top of the island, and if you were to keep going north, you would get to Guadeloupe. So they walked this morning from Tucari, which is my village. I'm from Cottage Tucari. They walk from Tucari up to Capuchin as penance. So Catholics believe in, um, I suppose, making atonement. So it's a way to atone. And Good Friday, because Good Friday is the celebration of the crucifixion of Jesus, it's a very special high holy day. Now, of course, there's no school as a kid, right? There's no school. And this special day, special day, they give you the opportunity to get away with a few things and to try out a few things. And I'm going to share some of those with you. And I'm also going to include some stories and superstitions and beliefs from some other cultures and other countries when it comes to Good Friday. My topic tonight is Good Friday stories and superstitions from Dominica and the Caribbean. And like I said, I'm including some other countries. So, story time, story time. I must have been about 8 years old, and we woke up that Good Friday morning, and my sister, one of my sisters, was set to break the rules. Break the rules. She was set to break the rules. I say break the rules because this is something as a family we had talked about. Like we always had these sit down story times. We'd be sitting and eating our dinners and we'd just go into stories and stories and stories from the old days and the village life and all of that. So my parents, when it came to Good Friday, the big story was that if a if a chicken laid an egg on Good Friday, and you took that egg and you held it under your armpits for like 30 days, 31 days, or 21 days, I don't remember the exact number, that this little egg would hatch into what they called a mouse, or a moose. And that little man would do your bidding. No matter what it is you wanted. And as kids, you're like, hey, I want dumpling, peas, and meat. I want all the money in the world. I want fried fish. You could ask Mr. Moose to fulfill your wishes. Now, if you didn't want to wait 21 days or 30 days or however long you had to hatch Mr. Moose under your armpit, you could do something else to predict the future. Hmm? I want to share with you what one of my sisters did and what I think it ended up foretelling. And I want you, when you listen to the story, to tell me if you think my prediction or my interpretation is correct. So let's talk about fortune telling and eggs and Easter and Good Friday. Everybody knows Caribbean people like a good fortune telling situation. We are known to have um, esoteric on the what we have been told was dark side, using dark side energy, and most of you are familiar with the word obia, or uh, most of you are familiar with the word obia. That's the word we call it, right? In Louisiana, they might say roots. Okay, but the Africans came down with their cultures, their worship culture, and they managed to sneak it into the Christian, Catholic, predominantly Catholic culture that they were introduced to by the Europeans. In Cuba and, say, Dominican Republic, they call it Santeria. Okay, so we're used to all of these magical sorts of stories. Good Friday in many Caribbean islands, including Dominica, at exactly midday, if you're a traditionalist means that's the way your grandparents taught it to you for years and their grandparents taught it to them, whatever. Midday, some people will crack an egg in a bowl of water and collect the white of the egg. That is then left to stand in the sun, and once it's dried, it is said to form a shape that will hint towards the future. Okay? So that's the foretelling. That's the foretelling. Sometimes the egg might take the shape of a fetus, suggesting that you might have a baby or a baby's coming into the family. Or sometimes the egg white might take the form of a boat, suggesting that you're going to be traveling. Or it might take the form of a church. And ooh, everybody wanted that because that suggested you're going to get married. And sometimes it might take the shape of a casket. Guess what that foretold? Hmm? Okay, so the practice differs from country to country. For example, Barbadians are said to crack their eggs first thing in the morning so that they can leave it in the sun the entire day so they can read it at the end of the day. Some cultures actually perform this ritual on the Holy Thursday. Holy Thursday is the Thursday like yesterday, okay? Some people call Holy Thursday Maundy Thursday as well. All right, so before I tell you all what my sister did and what shape she got and what unfolded as life went on, I want to go over some of the other traditions on Good Friday. So again, I think Good Friday for me was man, I felt like I had died and gone to heaven because there was no work. You couldn't lift a finger on Good Friday. No work, no heavy, no chores, honey. Okay. Uh, if you had to carry your little water back in the day, none of that. If you have to sweep your yard, none of that. It was a day, rien du tout. You did nothing. So imagine as a kid, you're like, yeah, yeah. However, on the flip side, there were many things that you had to do that didn't feel comfortable. So we couldn't eat meat. No meat, especially red meat. Forget about it. No meat. Essentially, you didn't eat until after 3 p.m. because 3 p.m. was the big Good Friday service where everybody in the community, everybody, back in those days, everybody went to church on Good Friday with their purple and their black and their white, like really sorrowful clothes, mourning clothes, signifying that Jesus had been crucified and he died. And so there we are, we're in mourning, sort of just reverently honoring that experience. So here are some other traditions, though, in the Caribbean that I myself wasn't aware of until I started doing some of the research. Some of what I grew up with in Dominica is a little similar. So there's one about the tree. They would tell you, please, you cannot cut a tree because if you cut a tree, you would see blood. And they'd say, do not go take a bath in the sea today because you'll see blood. Everything was about blood. There's a tradition in many islands called sticking the tree. It pertains to bleeding of the Physic nut tree. Okay? It's called sticking of the Physic nut tree. And the custom takes place at noon on Good Friday. Barbados is known for it. Local people use a knife to cut or to stick into the bark of the tree, which then releases red sap. And it's believed that to cut the tree on any other day of the year would not yield that red sap, which is again for us the blood, signifying the blood of Jesus Christ being poured out. All right, now, have you heard of hot cross buns and the story about that? So, hot cross buns are very famously baked on Good Friday, and they are said to never spoil. This is a tradition that is very common actually in the UK. The hot cross buns are traditional, and it's believed that they bring good luck if you keep them, if you hold on to them. Okay, if they were baked on Good Friday, many seamen like sailors would use those what you call it? We call that stale bread, right? When it's hardened as a way to keep them safe. So more superstition about keeping themselves safe with hot crust buns. Hot crust buns are those with a little raisin in it, like a little raisin bun. In some cultures, it's said that if you change your sheets on Good Friday, you're going to have bad dreams. So if you want to sleep well tomorrow night, they tell you, no, please do not change your sheets today. Leave them alone. You'll do them tomorrow. Don't work with wood. Do not work with wood. Don't work with it. Don't burn it. Don't cut it. And definitely do not drive a nail into it. I have a feeling that's to do with, again, the crucifixion. And, who knows? Why do you think superstitions start? Anyway, why do you think superstitions start? There's one that if you die on Good Friday, you go straight to heaven. If you die on Good Friday, you go straight to heaven. Nato, Tizia said she was afraid of breaking an egg this morning for her breakfast. She was afraid of breaking an egg this morning for her breakfast. Look, I think my mom in our home, we also didn't eat cheese, no dairy, no eggs, no milk, and no cheese. So you would have bread and water, or like juice, but juice like squash water, sugar water is what they would call it. Sugar water. You might squeeze a little lime in there and have a little squash, but that was about it. That was about it. until after the Good Friday service, which by the time you got home from Good Friday service, it was close to 6 p.m. where you could break your fast. So here's another superstition: babies born on Good Friday and baptized on Easter are said to have special powers. I had not heard that one. They're said to have special powers and the gift of healing. Many fishermen I know in Tukari, the men of my childhood, they would not go out to sea on Good Friday. They wouldn't go out to sea on Good Friday. There's also a belief that eggs laid on Good Friday will never go bad. Will never go bad. You can't plant crops. You can't do any gardening, any farming. Like I said, no woodwork at all. Those hot cross buns, uh, they were actually in some cultures, I want to say in the UK, a bun that was baked on Good Friday would be left to go hard, and you could grate the bread and put it in some warm milk to give a child or somebody if their stomach was upset. Mhm. So it was used for medicine because it was said to have special healing powers. All right. Like I said, for me, my favorite childhood memories on Good Friday centered around no work, no work. And Dominican people know your parents do not like you sitting down in the house without doing anything. They always have something for you to do. So as a child, that was a gift, honey. That was a gift. Something else that is said is that clothes washed on Good Friday will never come clean. Clothes washed on Good Friday will never come clean. And kids were told also to avoid climbing trees. Avoid climbing trees. All right, so story time. So here I am, like I said, I must have been about 8 years old. And one of my sisters, after having heard the story of the moose, like I said, is like a genie, so to speak. If the bird, the fowl laid the egg on Good Friday, you could put it under your armpits and keep it there for 21 days. And after 21 days, now you had to be very careful and make sure as soon as that little moose, that little genie hatched from the egg, you had to take the first stance and you had to say, I am your boss. If not, that little man creature would rule your life and drive you insane, right? Because you would basically be its lackey, be its slave. Jacqueline, you said your mom kept a Good Friday egg for months. It dried up, but the entire shell was still intact. So we're all excited. We're all like around, and all of us were looking out to see if any of the chickens in the yard, because Whoop was a farmer, so Whoop was into. We had chickens, we had goats, we had cows, the nine. And that Good Friday, there was a Good Friday egg. So one of my sisters, what did she do? Although my parents were like, no, do not do it. You cannot do it. Don't do it. Da, 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 da. What if you get a casket? She broke the egg and put it in a glass, like a clear glass. This isn't clear, but like clear glass. And put that thing in the sun. And I mean, I just remember being on pins and needles. I just remember being on pins and needles, but excited, you know? And gradually, the thing really started to take shape. And of course, there's in Dominica, we call it radio cord bois patat. Radio cord bois patat is the radio of wood of mouth. Cord bois patat is potato, the vine of the potato. So the vine of the potato goes along like this. So it's like playing telephone. One person told another person, told another person, told another person. And pretty soon, the whole village was in the yard. The glass, I remember the glass on top of the bath. We had a bath, a shower, an outside shower. made of bricks, and it was right there on top of that thing. Jacqueline, you say you know who that rule breaker was? Let me tell you, everybody, well, not everybody, but people kept coming to the yard to see, oh my God, it's taking shape. For real, it's taking shape. What is it going to be? What's it going to be? It turned into what to me, what to most people looked like a boat. A boat. Now, at the beginning, I told you the boat is supposed to represent the fact that you're going to travel, you're going to go far and wide. Well, the sister who did it, she actually left Dominica and traveled by boat to go to another island. Mhm. And my mom also traveled by boat for work years later. Years later. Jacqueline, you say you know who that rule breaker might have been, right? Yep. Jacqueline, you remember? What do you remember about that day? Because you were a little, you and Elise are closer in age than I am. I remember it like it was yesterday because it was so impactful. And for our family, perhaps it foretold a lot of stuff to do with boats because sadly, fortunately or unfortunately, it was an unfortunate event. My mom died in a boat. The boat she was traveling on sank. And the sister who did it, actually, her boat got in trouble once between the islands and she was rescued by the Coast Guard. Yes, she was rescued by the Coast Guard. So, could you say that that egg, that Good Friday egg, foretold that future? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. Do y'all think I should crack an egg? I think it's a little too late. I think it's a little too late. You're supposed to do it either first thing in the morning and put it out in the sun or midday. Apparently, midday. Um, Jacqueline said, here's another villager. Weno had a church with multiple steeples. Oh, wow. A church with multiple steeples. And according to the research, a church suggests somebody's getting married. Okay? Multiple steeples. Many of her daughters are getting married. Hey, cuz, let's go. Let's go, cuz. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Irene, 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 you are correct. Yes, you are correct. You are correct. I am telling you, Nato, you said you heard that story as a child, but you didn't believe it. Nato, I saw it with my own eyes. And Jacqueline will tell you she saw it with her own eyes. Irene says, that's right. Cyrus, he did leave. One of our brother, our older brother, he did leave and started, traveling. He actually worked on a boat for a long time. He worked as a seaman for many years. For many years. Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, it was the most like one of the those core memories in my mind that I have not been able to let go of, and I think it is so fascinating. You know how there's some cultures where you can drink tea and at the bottom of the teacup they tell you, depending on how the leaves are or what pattern it makes, this is your future. Okay. um well, that's one for Caribbean people. I tell you, that is one for Caribbean people. Not to, TCS said, good thing I didn't break that egg. But here's the thing. The thing is, what's going to happen is going to happen. It's not as if cracking the egg is going to make the thing happen. Cracking the egg might give you a hint as to what might happen. But uh, yeah, it is not for the faint of heart. And she was a strong one. Yeah, my sister was like, yeah, I hear you guys, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And it was. Irene says she remembers people running to see it. Like seriously, man, I remember being a kid and just being like amazed because it just started off like a blob, and then it started to define itself. At first, you thought it was going to be one thing, and then it changed and it changed and it changed, and then it took a form and it rested. It took a form and it rested. Nato said she doesn't want to see a coffin. I think that was like the biggest deal. Like everybody was like, no, don't do it. What if you see a coffin? What if you see a coffin? Irene says she's not touching an egg at all. Look, Irene, you're like me. We have seen enough caskets, right? In the recent past, we have seen enough caskets in the recent past. Jacqueline says you always wanted to try it, but you're scared, right? Yeah, it's got that kind of woo woo, kind of like kind of dark mystery thing about it. But think about it though, something mysterious is only something we don't yet understand. So, what if maybe we do have access to, on a spiritual realm, these kinds of information with these processes? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. All I know is I saw a boat on that day. All I know is I saw a boat on that day. So yeah, man. Like I just really love talking about that Good Friday egg story. And I mean I know our parents talked about the moose a lot, but I don't know that anybody ever really saw a genie, like saw a little man and that they could command it. I don't know if you all heard something back in the day. Um, I've never heard of that one really working, but many other people in the Caribbean will tell you, yes, they saw this shape, they saw that shape. Maybe it's our imagination too, Maybe it's your imagination too. Maybe you are like, I just want to believe it's a boat. But yeah, she was very excited about the boat because again, the only thing you're afraid of is if you see a casket. So she was very excited about the boat because that meant, oh my goodness, I'm going to go travel. I'm going to go be. And she did do that. So who knows, maybe seeing that actually encouraged her to, yes, go forward and have the experience of traveling by boat. But whatever it is, whatever it is. Hi, Vicky. Vicky, they had a little man in Marigot for real. Like, what did it do? Like, what did it do? I hear that if you keep the egg, the Good Friday egg, it's got to be a fresh Good Friday egg, and you got to keep it under your armpit. I don't know, did they tape their armpits? You got to put it under your armpit like a fowl, like a hen sits over an egg, and in 21 days, if it's a Good Friday egg, it hatches. A little man jumps out. But you must be the ruler of that little man. So as soon as the little man hatches, you're supposed to say, I am your boss, or whatever. If not, that little man will be your boss and he'll drive you to. Mm, yeah. So Jacqueline said, it is said a certain short man from Tukari made a moose. I haven't heard that one, but I sure hope he gained something from it because it's supposed to make you rich. It's supposed to give you money. You're supposed to be able to tell the moose, I want 50 million bucks, and the moose will go find it for you. The moose is supposed to, if you're sick, you're supposed to be able to tell the moose, heal me now, and the moose will heal you now. Look, story jump out. Oh, my sister says she will give me the deets later. This one is not for public consumption. My sister's going to give me the details on the little moose that was in Marigot. Oh, Florian says she remembers seeing a boat by Ma Bethel. So Ma Bethel lived in Monsole. Ma Bethel is our community healer. Ma Bethel is who I talk about when I said Ma Bethel without having been trained anywhere, knew how to use universal energy, universal healing energy. And she'd rub you, she would um, create these medicines. When you got sick, people would leave everywhere in Dominica to come to Ma Bethel to get better. So Ma Bethel did one. I suppose Florian and Ma Bethel, you remember seeing a boat by Ma Bethel. Well, think about it. That might have been a foretelling for her family, right? That might have been a foretelling for her family. My sister says, I will give you, she'll give me the story of the air. I want to hear it, Vicky. I want to hear it. Irene says, 21 days, eggs under your arm. Right, Irene? Like, how do they go to sleep? Like, it's like, and how do you keep it from getting broken under your armpits? In my little brain, I used to visualize it being like in a nest, like little twigs, and they put it under their armpits. But who traveled? Well, several of her kids traveled, didn't they? Several of her kids traveled. Yeah, all of her kids, Jacqueline says. So, look, Caribbean people know what they're talking about. Caribbean people know what they're talking about. So, the two biggest traditions, seriously, that I can think about that really I get excited about because it's just kind of like mysterious are the moose, creating the moose after 21 days by keeping the egg of from a fowl, from a chicken, from a hen that laid a Good Friday egg under your armpits for 21 days would lead to a little man being hatched mysteriously. But you had to, they call that, you had to take your point. You had to take your point on the little man, meaning you cannot let the little man be the boss of you. Therefore, as soon as he hatches, you're supposed to say, I'm your boss. If not, you will be the little man's slave. Okay? And then the one that my sister tried, which I really do remember as a kid, that you take the white of the egg, and I don't remember if you put it in water, but in some of the other islands stories, you do put it in water. You put it in water. Some islands, they say you got to do it at midday. Some say you've got to do it first thing in the morning. But you put it in the sun and wait and watch to see what shape the egg white makes. And if it's a church, somebody's getting married. If it's a fetus, somebody's pregnant, they're going to have a baby soon. I remember that. I remember it kind of looked like like everybody's afraid of being pregnant, like when you're young and stuff. And so you're like, oh, what if it shows a fetus? Fetus or a casket for me was like, oh my God, what does that mean? Okay, a boat meant you were going to travel, and a casket meant you were going to die, or somebody close to you was going to die. Oh, yeah, Irene remembers. That's right. You couldn't go bathe in the sea because they said there would be blood in the sea. Do y'all think they said those things because they just didn't want us to? I think in Dominica in particular, our parents came up with superstition after superstition after superstition. All they had to tell us was John B was going to take us, or Laja Bless was going to take us, or Sukuya was going to take us. And we would, or Midnight Walker. I know you'll remember this. All they would do, or the mermaid, they'd say the mermaid would take you to. But on Good Friday, they got you to stay away from the sea by telling you, oh, if you go and bathe in the sea, there's going to be blood in the sea. That's what I think. I think they were pulling a fast one on us. That's right, Irene. That was their way to keep us away from the sea and to go at 3 o'clock every Good Friday with your little black. Don't you dare wear red because the whole village would be talking bad about you. You would have to wear your little black, your white, or your purple. I remember there was a lady, there was a villager who always cried. This old lady always cried when she went up to the foot of the cross. They would put the cross, the crucifix. They'd put the crucifix. Somebody stands up in front of the congregation, and you come and you kiss the foot of the cross. Or as the young people started questioning all of that, then you would touch the foot of the cross, or you would touch the cross somewhere. But back in the day, everybody and grandma had to go kiss the foot of a wooden cross. I don't know. But yeah, Jacqueline says you had to put it in a glass of water in the midday sun. So um, I guess not just the pure egg white, but you got to put it in water. Ramona, you've never heard of this. Isn't that something? I bet you Auntie Veronique knows all about that. She was just protecting you. And then again, if you didn't grow up Catholic, um, a lot of those traditions seem to be more consistent with the mystery, I suppose, of the Catholic Church. Like it was easier to keep those superstitions, I think, in the Catholic religion because there's so much ritual already. Jacqueline says, yes, the egg white in a glass of water in the midday sun. Absolutely, all parents believed it. Absolutely, all parents believed it. Yeah, yeah, Ramona. Yeah, if you didn't grow up Catholic, you missed out on a lot, man. You missed out on the little man, the moose, and you missed out on the egg white shenanigans. Okay, you missed out. Um, I was going to launch into a talk about Laja Bless and Sukuya, but I'm going to leave that for another night. I don't want to spook you all out on this Good Friday where you have all your nice little preparations for Easter. I think we should come on here and talk about Sukuya and Laja Bless and share your stories about that. Irene, you're right. We couldn't go cut wood either because they said if you cut wood, it's going to bleed. The tree's going to bleed. There's actually in Barbados, there's something called sticking the tree, where there is a plant that the sap must be red because they say when you prick the plant, it's like red comes out of it, but it only comes out of it on Good Friday. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. So, yep. But I just wanted to come on seriously and be a little lighthearted and talk a little bit about our cultures, which I think our cultures are so unique. And there was some, as I was researching, some of the traditions seem to be very close to some from the UK. So I'm sure there are many other European countries with similar traditions. Um, so it was interesting to see like the cutting wood, and really you couldn't hit anything with wood. Mm, couldn't hit anything with wood. Ramona says her father used to make up concoctions. He had eggs in water. He also did something with snake oil. Hmm. Yeah, it's egg, it's water and the white of the egg, but you're supposed to leave it out in the sun. And the people who really go by the tradition, they'll do it at midday. And I'm not sure if the egg has to be laid on Good Friday or if you can take another egg and do it. But what I grew up hearing was that it had to be an egg that was hatched on that, not hatched, but the egg was, how do hens do their eggs? Laid. I had a brain fart there. The egg had to be laid on Good Friday for it to be able to have those magical powers. Okay? Irene, I know. Good Friday was the most boring day. It just felt like really still. Nobody wanted you to do anything as a kid. So, yes, there was a positive of not having to do any work, but really you couldn't do anything. There was no music. And we're talking back in the day. no music in the house, no loud talking. You're fasting. You're barely, the wind is about to blow you away because they have you on bread and water, which is good. It's fasting, right? Fasting is good for many reasons. Fasting is good for health reasons, for spiritual reasons, yes. But as a child, you can't get with that fasting business. So the wind is about to take you away because they have you on bread and sugar water. You can't have any meat. You barely can have any flesh before the Good Friday service. By the time you eat, it's like 5 o'clock, or really 6 o'clock. You break the fast. Yeah, that was a rough day. And added to that, I think people really got into the significance of the Good Friday. Really got into the significance of Good Friday because they started with the pilgrimage where somebody sometimes would be carrying the cross, like just mimicking that final journey of Jesus to the cross to get crucified. Again, like I said, I remember this older lady who every time she walked up to the cross, she used to cry. She would cry. Marian, hi Marian. Marian said that I did once with the egg white has formed a boat. So a boat is really common for Caribbean people, I suppose, because we must leave, right? It's either we're taking the plane or we're taking the boat. No, you cannot drive from Dominica to the US. Either the boat or the plane. Yeah, Good Friday felt very quiet. You couldn't go to the beach. You couldn't go running around playing with your friends. Nothing. Hi, Pamela. How are you? Okay, Irene. So you're clarifying that that egg had to be laid on Good Friday because is that specialness of the Good Friday. Marianne says you could not use knives and no eating of meat. No meat, honey. No meat. And you know, for a kid, meat is what you live for. You live. Uh, I like to think of it this way. When we were younger, I don't know that meat was as plentiful as it is now because people, you had a butcher, you would go to the market on a Saturday and you might buy a few pounds of meat, but for the most part, most people ate fish. Every day, the fishermen would bring the fish in. So, meat is very special in many families' homes. And so, you to think you cannot eat a little meat, you can barely eat a little cheese and bread and water. Yeah, that was rough on a child. Vicky says, yeah, it had to be a Good Friday egg. Okay. Um, Ramona, y'all cracking me up. This is more fun than I anticipated. Ramona said her dad was probably doing obia, lol. He said she said there were people's names on the jars. Look, obia is not bad, you know. We've been taught that obia is bad, but obia is part of our African religion. So that and that religion started long before many other religions. So your father maybe knew something that we don't know. Hmm? Your dad maybe knew something that we don't know that he handled on his Good Friday. Jacqueline says, I used to think that Jesus was being crucified every Good Friday. I am with you there. Seriously, I used to think he was being crucified every Good Friday, dreaded going to Mass, and that's why I hardly go to Good Friday Mass now. I think I'm with you. I think I've been traumatized by the Good Friday experience to a certain degree because I remember as a child just feeling so hurt, so burdened, so sad on Good Friday. And it wasn't until I became an adult that I realized, well, you know, it's not happening right now. He's not being crucified again this year. But yeah, the big build up from Lent, and then Holy Week came, and then Holy Thursday I could handle because, you know, there was nothing much happening on Holy Thursday. But Good Friday, I couldn't wait for it to end. So at about this time, which is 7:44, it's over and it's done, and you can't wait for Sunday because Holy Saturday was not much of a big deal in my family. I don't know if it was for you, but it wasn't a big deal for us. We just couldn't wait for Easter Sunday. Aaliyah said, are you saying you were doing laundry on Good Friday and the water turned into blood? Oh, are you saying doing laundry on Good Friday? Aaliyah, you're going to have to clarify, honey, because are you saying that your water turned into blood on a Good Friday? Or are you saying that people said don't do laundry on a Good Friday because it would turn into blood? Because that's correct. That's one of the superstitions. Again, I think that was their way of keeping us um, from not doing any work without having to keep yelling at us and keep yelling at us. They just make you think you were going to be taken away. Jombi, Sukuya, Laja Bless was going to take you away. Yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah. So you're right, Aliyah. That is one of the superstitions that if you do laundry on Good Friday, the water will turn to blood. I just need somebody who has proven these superstitions out. Um, yes. Okay. I haven't heard about the lamb. Oh, interesting. So Ramona said you would eat fish on Good Friday and lamb on Easter Sunday. That's interesting. That's interesting. I agree. Meat was reserved for Sundays. So growing up in Dominica, all week long you're eating fish, fried fish, steamed fish, boiled fish, salted fish, roasted fish. And on the weekends, your parents went to the market, farmers market, you get your few pounds of beef and you uh you know, big Sunday dinner, just like soul food, kind of like the soul food experience, where everybody's sitting together and eating Sunday dinner with meat and red beans. What was your favorite Sunday meal? Man, red beans, dumpling, meat and peas, dumpling, peas and meat, dumpling, peas and meat, dumplings, flour dumplings, red beans, meat, and that meat could be stewed beef or stewed goat, or a lot of people like a pig snout in their red beans. Mm. And outside of that, you had your extra meat. That was great. Some rice, provisions, a salad. Mm. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Marianne. The moose, the little man, the little genie. Yeah. Was it had to be from an egg laid on Good Friday, and you were supposed to keep it under your armpits and let it hatch for, I think you had to leave it there for 21 days. Vicky says no meat, no milk, no eggs, no dairy, no nothing rich on Good Friday. In essence, you were doing penance. Um, you were fasting in more ways than one. You were fasting from food, but you were also fasting from work. So you couldn't go up, and fasting from fun because you couldn't even go to the beach. Ramona, Ramona said that Raymond was doing bad obia. Okay, but not on Good Friday. Not on Good Friday. Okay. Yeah, Marian, I feel you. I felt so bad for Jesus on that day because for real, it just seemed like, oh my goodness, and as a kid, you take in the story, and every year you got to go do it. So imagine your anxiety building. I think that's what was happening to us on Good Friday. Anxiety would be building as it came time for the 3 p.m. Service. Aliyah says, they say no doing laundry. That's right. No doing laundry, no cutting trees. What else? No pounding nails. None of that. Irene said, no one proved that blood story except for the boat. Yeah, the boat and the egg story. Yeah, that turned out to be true. Pamela says that's true. Fish during the week and Sunday meat. That's right. So on the weekends, I wonder if that's what contributed to longevity our elderly, right? So Dominica has, right now, we might have the highest number of centenarians per capita, meaning the highest number of people over 100 years old, given the space that we live in. And a lot of our centenarians, that was their diet. That was their diet. Fish all week and a little piece of meat. Because remember, meat is expensive. And you get a little 1 pound, 2 pounds of beef in the market. That's got to stretch for a family of 10. So you're getting a little taste of your meat. Look, that's a prized possession. Okay. And Pamela said red beans, pie, salad, and meat. Yes, yes, yes. Um, Irene, you're right. A whole topic for itself, because I have a feeling the folks in the city, they had a different reality than us. They don't know what they missed out on. They don't know what they missed out on. Like those good times, they don't know what they missed out on. Marian says what she really enjoyed the most about Easter was the beach and music. Okay, so I'm glad you bring that up, because, all right, so we have the big celebration of Easter Sunday, and then Easter Monday. Oh, as a kid, yeah, that was the jam. That was the life, because everybody, except for maybe a few very, I would call them now, folks who just didn't like people much, they'd stay home. But most of the villagers would come down to Tukari. You have your little spread, again with your little dumpling piece on meat, and your little cross buns, and your squash. Yeah, your little grapefruit juice, your little finger foods, your little sandwiches. And as kids, you're out there the whole day. There's music playing, there are games on the beach, just a lot of community, talking again about longevity and living long, social engagement, like being with each other and finding your support systems. Like all your little friends from school would be there. So that feeling of togetherness, really, those two factors, social engagement and social support, are very, very, very highly connected to living long lives and long and healthy lives. So I think our centenarians were onto something with that. Marian says, do you remember the song we were dancing? I was the ringleader with a wrap around my waist. I can't remember. I can't remember, but um, where was that? If you can tell me where it was, I might remember. Ramona says, I didn't like the food as a child, and there wasn't much most days anyway. Oh, you didn't like the food. They would say maybe you didn't have Jean Country taste, so the food was like what? You didn't like fig? You didn't like fig moans? Marianne says, running up and down the hill close to Veronica Francis. Okay, okay. No, that's in Tukari, going up towards Mona Louis. Yeah, beach time in Portsmouth. So the big beaches, back in the day, Bell Hall was it. Bell Hall would be packed from, what do you call the lady name? Close to my oven, all the way down to Cabrits, right? All the way, the beach is packed. And then Tukari started gaining popularity. Tukari, whereas Coconut Beach was another one. Coconut Beach. Yeah, Mount. I loved Easter Monday and going to the beach. Eating almonds, breaking open almonds on the beach. Get your rocks and breaking them open and eating the almond right there. Those were good times. Those were good times. Oh, so you just didn't like food at all. You got licks. Maybe the food that was prepared, you just didn't have a taste for that. And back then, you had to eat what was prepared, honey. Better eat. Yeah, better eat. Hmm. So yes, look, we made it a whole hour talking about Good Friday traditions in Dominica and the Caribbean and other parts of the world. Like I said, for me, um, those memories, like that memory of that egg and the boat being formed in the glass, and everybody from the village coming to see that boat. Like that is just branded on my brain. And I just remember in my imagination going very far, like trying to visualize, man, what would a moose really look like? Like for real, could we really try it? Could we do it? But of course, your parents would tell you these things, and then they'd say, "Nope, you can't try it." So, except if you were brave, like my sister, you wouldn't try. Yeah, Marian says that was the last time we had fun, and then everyone went their separate ways. Doesn't it seem that way? It really does seem that way. Like life was so free and fun, and you know, stress free. The biggest drama you had was your girlfriend would say, "I'm not talking to you for a week," or somebody talked about me. They were ponging Beth on me. That was the worst we had going on, and now look at this. Look at this. That's right, Pamela. Special, special, special moments we can never forget. I think that's important for us to remember that no matter how far away you go from your source, your root is still there. Who you are is still there. And we're still one wherever we've gone to. We're still one. I do miss those days. I do miss those days. Um, Anybody remembers the Pataqua? The Pataqua. You know what's a Pataqua? Ramona says beach day watching the cute guys. LOL. Right, like your little crush from high school. Like if all you could do was just spy on them and watch them go by, it was a delicious experience. Mentally delicious. Marlene says Beach Bell Hall by Ma Addison. Ma Oven was higher up by the rocks. Okay, you're right. So down, close to, I suppose, the bridge, further a little further down than the bridge, all the way to Cabrit's, because there were no rocks. Anywhere there was no rocks, you know, just people laid out from all over the country with their food. That's right, Pamela. No cell phones. And we had so much fun. No cell phones. And so much fun. What were the games you remember? I remember hopscotch. Yesterday I was in a school um, picking up one of my boys, and I was doing a meditation. There's this I guess there's squares in the floor, squares in the floor, and I was walking through the squares and thinking about moral, where we'd go one, we'd bump the ball one, then one, two, go all around, then one, two, three, send the ball in, one, two, three. And then I started telling him about growing up in my elementary school and how we used to make circles and pitch marbles and all of that stuff. Good times, good times. Yeah. Irene says Mr. Smith and El Perro with the pataqua. The pataqua was a wooden thing, right? Like a I remember it some in a hazy way in my brain. Um I don't remember who is El Perro, but I know I should know. Who is El Perro? Irene, you remember everything. Irene remembers everything. Okay, Jacqueline, you got to remind me. Oh, Pell. Okay, I don't remember that one. That's right, Aaliyah. Dominican culture, pong in Beth. Long time we didn't hear that phrase, pong in Beth. Think, oh my God. Like, so I have the visual in my head, pounding a cow, like wham, wham. When you're tenderizing meat. So they were there, they were professional meat tenderizers, except that it wasn't real meat. It was just your life. They were, uh, mm, mm. Yeah. Yes, TCA, that was on the beach in Tukari. If your memory serves you right, the pataqua was yellow. I remember the pataqua coming around for the feast days. Like St. Anthony was our feast day in Tukari, and Capuchin is St. Francis, Portsmouth is St. Peter. And like those were big days, man, big days. Interestingly, because Dominica, I suppose, was mostly a Catholic country, a lot of our feasts and I guess celebrations are tied into those feast days. Ah, Irene, with horses. So the horses would pull them like a merry-go-round. That's what it was, right, Irene? A merry-go-round. That's what I know. Andy. Andy is the one with all the stories. Andy is like a library. He's like an encyclopedia. Like all the stories with details and clear memories of those details. not to, not to I forget El Perro. I forget El Perro. Yeah, the Pataqua was like a carousel. Okay, yeah, a carousel. And that was so fun for us as kids. Orange and white. I cannot bring it to my mind. Yep, St. Peter, the fishing boat. St. Peter was all the fishing boats would go out. They'd decorate their little fishing boats with flamboyant trees and whatever, and just a good time. El Perro the bull used to live. I cannot remember. Florian says El Perro the bull. I bet you I must. The name is there, in my head. El Perro the bull used to live. I guess El Perro used to live in Cottage, eh? Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, y'all, y'all took it down with me, man. The whole hour talking about memories. Memories like Pataqua and El Perro. El Perro was June's uncle. Oh, okay. Okay. I know the family. I remember the family, but I can't remember the. I can't put the face with the name. Y'all made me smile tonight. I appreciate you. I hope you smiled tonight. Life is, and then she has puppies. Life can be and then she has puppies. But I think togetherness, yeah, social engagement. We can't meet, like Marian says, we can't meet in person, and a lot of us we went this way, that way, this way, that way. But what a lovely little space that we just created tonight. Mm? And whatever your mind sees, your body feels it. So all the good feelings from being on that Pataqua and being on Bell Hall Beach and thinking about moose and stuff like that, I bet your heart feels a little better. Uh, uh, right, Pat? I bet your heart feels a little better. Yeah. Irene says El Perro used to live foreign for a long time. Probably I don't remember. Yeah, I'm visualizing. I just cannot remember what is his other name. I don't. If I see his other name, I'll remember. Good memories indeed. Good memories indeed. And it's so good. Yeah, we need to have a reunion. It's so good to see so many of you all on here because, yeah, I think our route is great. That route we got is fabulous. And it doesn't matter how far branches go. If the root is good, those branches are going to be good too. Okay? Those branches are going to be good too. So, yes, I love the stories. And maybe we should come on here and do some more stories every now and then, once a month. Just kind of catch up or something. Just come on here and be together in a positive way. Yeah, I want to wish you all happy Easter. I'm happy Good Friday is done. Okay, leave the lago and then move to cottage. Okay, I'm happy Good Friday is done. Um, Irene. Irene says he's in Tukari. He's there for life. He's there forever. No, eh? Ah, yeah. I wish you all a happy Easter. Enjoy your family. Enjoy your lives. Life is short, y'all. It's very short. It goes by faster than you think. So the things you have to do, find a way to do it. Find a way to do it. Okay? Find a way to do it, regardless of what other people think. That's their business, huh? You know what you want to do for yourself. So I'm gonna say peace. Happy Friday. Sending you all love and light. All right. Bye.